Hey guys, Dantics here, back with some more The Outer Worlds content. I absolutely love this game, and if you haven't seen anything on it so far, be sure to check out my review below. It goes through everything you need to know. However, when you start the game, it's fairly daunting. There's a lot of things you need to know. There's attributes, there's skills, and there's perks. So I've put together what I think are the 4 best starting builds. The 4 best in that they're the most fun, they're the easiest to understand, and they're the easiest to get through the game with. Now, there is better builds for min-maxing, don't get me wrong, but if you're just starting and you want to experience all the game has to offer, these 4 are the best. So if you like what you see, be sure to leave a like, it helps me a lot. And let's just get right into it. The first build is the Two-Handed Specialist. Now, this is the build I actually used running through the game the first time. It's about two-handed weapons, it's about high defense and just never really dying. You don't have great intelligence, but that adds the dumb guy options, which is a bit of fun. You don't have high perception, which means you won't be doing much in terms of headshot or weak spot damage boosting, but that's fine because you already hit like a truck. Same with the crit chance. You're not really gonna care about the critical damage too much because you'll be critting like every hit anyway. Charm being lower also means your companions' abilities aren't up as often, but they're still fairly strong, so don't worry too much about this. The main thing is, with strength, you have that two-handed melee boosted and you have that block boosted. With dexterity, you have block boosted and you get that attack speed. And then with temperament, you get that two-handed melee boost. And also you get natural health regeneration, which makes you really tanky. So this build hits hard and is very tanky. The reason being is, well, you focus on melee and you focus on defense when it comes to building your character at the start. Defense for the block, melee for two-handed melee. So you want to get this up to 50 as fast as you can. And you want to then get block up to 50 as fast as you can. So that's only actually 2 levels to get both up to 50, which is crazy because you'll have your power attacks and sweep attacks and your TTD location hit effects, which aren't going to matter too much because your perception and intelligence aren't that great. Sorry, I'm a bit sick. And then you'll have block up, which means you can perfect block, and if you do so, you don't lose as much durability. But then it's just a matter of personal preference. Do you want to hit harder, essentially, because you will be upping your crit chance every point you put into two-handed melee, or do you want to take more damage? Depending on your difficulty level, if you're playing on normal, I would recommend two-handed melee, put it up first. If it's on anything harder, put block up, because that will just naturally give you more armor rating, as you can see, when you're holding a melee weapon. Walk speed while blocking is also very useful. What is really cool though is perfect blocks weaken opponents, making you hit double as hard. So get used to perfect blocking, which isn't too hard to do. And don't forget, you can actually block ranged attacks. You can't perfect block ranged attacks, but you can block ranged attacks. So get used to using that. And then we have other abilities, other skills that you might want to put points into. I never put any into stealth, but getting up tech is not too bad of an idea because then you can modify your weapons, break them down and repair them fairly easily. You have science to tinker with them and make them a bit stronger. And medical just makes you more tanky. So putting points into that definitely isn't a bad thing. Now in terms of perks, you want tank and you want something to boost your melee and your speed. So we've got base health increase. This is pretty much a standard for every single character. If you don't pick up 50% extra base health, I don't know what's wrong with you, because there's nothing else as good as that skill in tier 1. So pick that up. Get more tactical time dilation. That just helps you get in to the fight better, and I'll explain why soon with the skill down here, with a perk down here. And then we have an increased movement speed, an increased sprint speed. This is just going to be a better, living perk. Everything's faster. Getting from town to town is going to be faster. Moving in combat is going to be faster. It's just good to have both of these. And then we just have more armor, which makes us more tanky. And then we have more movement speed through your tactical time dilation, which is amazing because you want to pop that before you get into the combat. Get in there and start smacking them around because you're not a stealthy person. You're just all about hitting face with this build. Then you have a scanner. So you're going to do that extra weak spot damage, which is going to offset the 20% here. Then you have just a highlight range, which is just going to make it easier for you to see things. Because this is you don't need to get this one, but I get it because I enjoy having the ability to see what I can pick up when I walk into a room. But you can up something else if you really want to. Then we have consumable weight down, because you will be using a lot of consumables. You will be healing a lot, so it's nice to pick up everything and have that weight reduced. Then we have extra 80 carry capacity, because you have both companions out. You're not a lone wolf, though you can build this as a lone wolf build, and that would just mean that you get, where is it? Lone wolf here, and then you get this one here as well, and then you get, there's another lone wolf one here somewhere. But you can always do that. Then we have last tier. Killing an enemy makes your next shot a guaranteed crit. So you'll pretty much be always critting, because once you get two-handed melee up to 100, you'll have an almost 300% increase to your crit chance, which is quite a lot. Then that doesn't mean 300% chance of crit, that just means what your base is will be 300% extra. Then we have the Armor Master. This gives just straight up more armor, and it doubles the skill bonus. So if your armor piece has 5 to sneak, it's going to be 10 to sneak. If it has 7 to plus two-handed weapons, it's going to be 14. So this is always good. And then you have this one here, Tactical Master. I absolutely love this skill. It makes it so for 5 seconds, you function like normal in tactical time dilation. So you're just swinging like normal and everyone is moving super slow, and that is crazy because that makes you hit so much harder. Then we have melee damage return, so you're basically a vampire now. No one's going to kill you at this stage. When you get this, nothing is going to kill you. Nothing did kill me. I went the whole game without dying with this build. So then we have boom headshot, they just explode. Be careful though, there is a bug with this skill and N-ray damage that can instantly kill you, but it shouldn't. If it doesn't apply, it doesn't apply. This is just a good skill. So that is the two-handed melee tanky kind of bruiser build. You're all about getting in there fast. You don't need to negotiate with anyone. You don't need to sneak or hack or any of that. You just go in and kill everything you need to. That's it. And you can play the whole game like that. This is probably one of those builds that's really good at a psychopath playthrough as well. If you just want to kill everything, this is really good because you actually don't need your companions for this. However, if you do like using companions, you can start dumping points into leadership as well once you max out two-handed and block. I would recommend going something like medical, just so you can heal if you do need to, but I ended the game with 100 and something inhaler charges, so like I pretty much didn't need to use it, but still, depending on what you want to do. And then we have our next build. This is like a sneaky sniper long rifle kind of build. This is if you want to use guns and you want to sneak and do high crit and weak spot damage. So of course we've got dexterity for that weapon attack speed. We have intelligence for that critical hit damage. We've got perception for that extra headshot and weak shot damage. So we don't mind losing a bit of carry capacity. It does kind of hurt, but if you manage your inventory well, you'll be fine. We don't care too much about companions, but I don't like lowering temperament because if you lower temperament, you get a 0 health regeneration a second, and then you have to use a lot of your resources to keep generating your health when you take damage instead of just naturally healing. And I don't really like that playstyle. But you can always do it if you want and pump up intelligence. Then we have the focus on ranged. Obviously, we want to go long guns. You can go a handgun build. You can be more like Han Solo. You can go heavy weapons. It doesn't matter. I'm choosing long guns because we have the hunting rifles and other nice machine guns that we can swap between. Also, when you do max this out, it ignores armor. You don't have weapon sway. It's just really fun. Long guns are really fun with sneak, because with sneak you got that extra weak spot damage, and you got that just immediate huge hit damage when you come out of sneak. So having like a hunting rifle is really good with sneak. So up sneak and long guns as fast as you can. I would even consider putting a few points into, since let me show you. Since your lockpicking is going to be up quickly, I would consider putting it up to this stage and then putting points into your long guns until it's 50. And then you can decide which you'd prefer to put up. You might want that extra long gun damage, the weak spot damage, or you might want the crouch movement speed, because you will be crouching pretty much everywhere. Which leads me into this. Do you really want extra movement speed? Because you'll be crouching everywhere, so you might not want that sprint speed. It might not pay off for you, but I just really enjoy these perks because it makes the game, it makes you get from point A to point B more often, and the game's not all about combat. So health, always get it. Tactical time dilation is going to be your best friend with this build. You're going to be using it a lot to line up headshots and weak point shots, so get that. You get the pack mule early on because you have lost a lot of carry capacity, so it's good just to have a little bit extra. More tactical time dilation when you kill something, you always want this. This will stack while you're in tactical time dilation and you kill things. You're just going to get more and more and more, so it'll last longer and longer. You want to move faster during it. You want that extra headshot damage. It's going to be all about that. You're going to do huge damage sneaking and then shooting him in the head. It's going to just, one-shot most normal enemies. And then you have more highlight range just because I like it, but you can choose anything else here. And health restored per kill. This is the one way we're going to make ourselves a little tankier. So get used to that, because we're definitely not committing into anything in the where is it? The dodge. Though this definitely is a third skill that you could raise up. So if you raise dodge up to, where is it? Level 60. You raise dodge up to 60, you get that armor protection, so that's another way of being a little tankier. And where is it? And the master as well, level 100. Your next weak spot hit has a 50% chance of normal armor, so that could always be good. So dodge might be something you want to put points into, but generally speaking, sneaking and long gun should be enough for your damage. And then we have making yourself more steady, which is definitely good when you're sniping. Getting a guaranteed critical hit, another thing that's really good. Your movement speed while in tactical time dilation, I went through this before. Just being able to fire at a normal rate for 5 seconds while in that is crazy. Just make sure you've kind of lined up a shot already before you activate it, because it only lasts for 5 seconds, even if you're not moving. So get used to that. You might get used to just like assessing the situation. You're not going to be able to do that anymore. You just want to know what you're going to do, tactical time dilation, then just fire. Then we have headshots explode. It's really good when you're long ranged. And then we have the penetrating shots, which you can only really use if you've got ranged attacks, which we do. Basically makes it so armor isn't a thing. Plus armor won't be a thing anyway because of long guns. Level 100 master. Critical hits ignore 100% armor, and you'll be critting pretty much all the time. So this is more about sneaking around, using a little bit of lockpicking to get through certain areas, sniping who you need to, using a machine gun when you do get into combat, using a hunting rifle or a sniper modified rifle when you need to shoot things at range with tactical time dilation. Just a really good build. It's overall really, really good. And if you want to dump any points into anything, you can dump them into dodge, you can dump them into leadership, you can dump them into any of these tech skills as well. It doesn't really matter, it's whatever playstyle you want to take. Now the third, this is the non-combat build. If you are wanting to get through the game and experience it without fighting anything, this is the build I recommend. You want to put your intelligence up to max, because this has your hack, this has your persuade, it has those skills that are going to help you out. Then you have dexterity, because it has lockpick, sneak. You have charm, because it has your companions boosted. So you don't want to lower too much. You want everything to be kind of okay with this non-combat build, except strength, because you really don't need any of that. So you're gonna not be able to carry as much, but that's fine. You're not gonna be caring about that. Then we have what you invest into. Now, you want stealth, because you want that hack and you want that lockpick. Hack is going to help you turn robot enemies against their masters when you're infiltrating places. It's going to help you get the resources that you need without having to fight things. And same with lockpick. You're going to avoid the front door with lockpick, basically. And then with tech, you're going to have science and engineering. The main reason science and engineering is because we want to dump points into science. We want to get that up as high as we can, because we are going to be utilizing science weapons. This is non-combat, but when you do need to enter combat, you're going to be using those wacky science weapons like a shrink ray and the anti-grav gun that you can get, and that's going to be your main damage source. So you want to put points into all sneak, hack, lockpick, and science. You want all of those. So whichever order you want to put it in, but I highly recommend going stealth first, getting something up to 50, which will be hack. And then you're good to put some into science if you want that extra damage. But if you want to stay pure non-combat, start bumping these up individually and then putting 100 into science last. Then we have perks, standard level 1 perks. You don't really need to worry too much about these. You kind of get the point. I put more focus on companions with this build just because you will probably have to utilize them a little bit. So dumping a few points into there won't matter, won't hurt you. Then we have tactical time dilation, science weapon damage. This is important, up the science weapon damage here and here. So that will be 100 extra science weapon damage. Use the tinkering with your science to up its damage as well. Spend all the money you need to spend to make those science weapons strong. Then we have Band of Brothers and Tag Team to make your companions a bit better, because you'll be utilizing their abilities a lot. Ability cooldown, and use the companion, I won't tell you which one, but use the companion that has a skill that ups science weapon damage. So very, very useful for you. And that's pretty much it with this build. You know what to do, just non-combat. If you want to focus more on dialogue as well, that's also an option. Where is it? I keep skipping past it. Dialogue. So you could completely forego the sneak option, and you could put charm up to very high and intelligence down to good, and then you could focus on dialogue instead of stealth, and then you could focus on leadership and science as a secondary, which is also a very plausible build. But there's a lot of options with non-combat. This is just the one I recommend. Lastly, we have the leader. The leader is all about their companions. You want strength up high because that boosts your inspiration skill. It also boosts melee and carry, and you'll be focusing on melee and being a sort of tank for your team. You want 2 companions that are ranged and can use powerful range weapons, because they'll be doing most of the damage. They'll be doing actually ridiculous amount more damage than you. Each companion will be more than double your damage output. And then you have charm for obvious reasons, temperament for the determination skill. And then we specialize in leadership and defense. Defense for block, because we want to become tankier, and leadership for inspiration and determination. Now, the main way you build is you just do this. You max the absolute crap out of it. That's all you need to do. Just max both of these skills. You get the point. Max them. Max them first up. Inspiration first, determination next, and then some into block, or if you're not having trouble dying, you can put it somewhere else. The main thing though is get a good melee weapon and sit in the front lines for your team. That's base health is for that, your movement speed is for that, companion crit chance to make them stronger, and you get extra XP from companion kills, so you will level a lot faster. Tactical time dilation goes up. Tag Team and Band of Brothers is definitely needed for this build. It makes their abilities used more often, and with this build you will be using them a ridiculous amount. It almost will make you feel like you want to turn off animations because they use them a lot. Companion ability cooldown, and then carry bonus for your companions. Then we have skill bonus, which will up, you'll use mostly for your abilities to up inspiration or determination. A lot of clothing items have boosts to those. So anything that's going to boost inspiration and determination is what you want. Inspiration as a primary, determination as a secondary. The more damage you can give to them directly is really good, because it does legitimately just give them damage, whereas all your skills give you crit chance, which I guess is indirect damage, but this is just direct damage. So anything that boosts up inspiration is really good. Then tactical time dilation. You've got another way to be tanky with the melee damage returned as health. And you revive companions when you use your inhaler. That is very, very important. And then you got, while you're under 25% health, you deal increased damage. You can choose kind of anything to replace that if you need to. The main thing is, this is probably the easiest build in terms of making it effective. You're going to be pretty good at almost everything, because if you notice the level 60 adept skill, you get 100% extra player skill based on your companion. Companions have their own 3 skills that they will apply to yours. So they might have lockpicking, for example, and that applies. A bonus to lockpicking will apply to you. So we have 0 lockpicking, but if you have 2 lockpicking companions, that could be up to 50 or more. So you can just bring the right companion for the right situation, and you can pretty much do anything. You're really a generalist with this kind of build. So very, very easy. So those are the 4 builds that I recommend that you start with. Pick one of those 4. There's probably better builds out there, more min-max, but these are the easiest to understand, easiest to pick up and play, and the most fun, frankly. These are what you're going to kind of want your player to be when you start out, because you're not going to be majorly hindered in any way, and you're going to experience the game in a way that is enjoyable, and you're not like kind of scrambling for anything particular. Like, it's not going to be just a terrible, temperament where you need to keep using your inhaler. There's not going to be any of that. It's just easy to understand, great builds. So thank you so much for watching. If you like the Outer Worlds and this kind of content, let me know. I apologize for being sick through the whole of this release. There's nothing I can do though. If you like my content, be sure to follow my Twitter as well, because I have a lot of competitions going actually. I really appreciate your support there. Follow me on Discord as well, and I'll talk to you very soon.